everyone, I hope you all are doing well today. We are doing just fine over here. So today I wanted to hop on here and just kind of share with you all a few pointers on why I think homeschooling is just easier when it's God. So we're just going to get right into it. So the first thing I'd like to point out that is if God is the one who brought you to it, then He's going to be the one to bring you through it. And I know that might kind of seem and sound like a bit of a cliche, but it's very true. Just based off of my own experience and my own testimony, I will even say, I never thought in a million years that I would be homeschooling my children. I had heard about homeschooling when I was in school, but never really knew what it was and wasn't really all that interested in it. I thought I was just going to send my kids to public school just like most people do. And then things changed. Let's just put it that way in short. And I had a lot of fears going into it. I had a lot of insecurities. I had a lot of questions, a lot of doubt, I should say, self-doubt more than anything. And just to give you a little bit of background, I remember staying up late at night just crying and sobbing. And I was just asking God, like, I don't think I can do this. How am I going to do this? I'm not capable to do this. I have no background in teaching. I have no degree in teaching. I don't have anything. I have no experience in this. Like, how am I going to do this? Are you sure this is really what you want us to do as a family? And He very gently said, you know, if I was able to do what I have done for you in your life, in your education, and just in life in general, then how much more do you think that I'm going to be able to do for your children? And so, of course, I started crying even harder at that point, and I said, okay, fine, let's do this, right? And this was like right down to the wire. I had like less than a week before the school year started, so it was really down to the wire, like I said. So yeah, if God has called you to do it, then He's going to be the one to get you through it, right? And second point I would like to make is, like, you feel when it's not right, when you kind of make your own plans and it's just like a tug of war between you and your child. I've been there so many times, it's not even funny. And it's just, like I said, it feels like a tug of war. And this is more than just like, you know, your child just wakes up and he or she just doesn't want to do it. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's like everything just feels like a struggle. So based on my own experience, that's when you need to move out of the way and let God show you what you should be doing, because believe it or not, or even like it or not, God knows our children more than we do. So He knows what's best for them, and He knows what they need, right? So we just have to really make sure that we're staying connected to Him, and we're asking Him for His wisdom and His guidance in everything. Again, just another background story. So I don't come from a homeschooling background. I come from a traditional school background. And so after I had said, okay, God, let's do this. So I went in there with my own ideas and my own thoughts about how school is supposed to look and, you know, things we were supposed to do. And believe it or not, I planned out an 8-hour day for preschool. And some of you might have heard me tell this story before, but for me, it just never gets old because it's just hilarious. Even when you're in a public school setting, you're not doing 8 hours of school. So just let that sink in for a moment. How I came up with that as like the way it was going to work out in my mind, I can't tell you. But anyways, so yeah, at that point, of course, very quickly I found that it wasn't working, and that was a battle. It was tug of war, not just between me and my kids, but between me and just life. I was very quickly burnt out, and again, asking myself, can I really do this? This is really hard. Really, because I was just overthinking it and not listening to God. So, okay, so another point I'd like to make is it's okay to make your own plans, but be ready for curveballs, right? And if you're anyone like me, I don't do well with curveballs. I just don't. Like, you know, if you say you're coming over at 7 p.m. or 5 p.m., then I expect you to be over at 5 p.m., 7 p.m. Like, you know, but if you all of a sudden like, oh no, I can't make it, then I'm like, just like the gears in my brain just don't work properly with curveballs. But when you're homeschooling and you're being led by God, you have to be willing to receive a curveball and just kind of know how to go with it and handle it. So again, for example, this year, another great example, this year I had like, you know, when September came around, I had about like 6 months worth of lesson plans, because I personally love to put together lesson plans and activities and curriculum on my own. I like to build it on my own. I really enjoy it. It's something that I like to do. So for me, I was like, this is awesome. I've never been this prepared. I've never been this ready for a homeschool year in my entire life. And I've been doing this for around 4 years now, almost 5 years now. And this is gonna be great. Well, guess what? Plans changed. I got a full-time job. I'm working 44 hours a week. And we just don't have as much time to dedicate towards, or at least I don't have that much time to dedicate towards homeschooling anymore. So we had to readjust. We had to readjust, and it's been fine. Believe it or not, guys, it's been fine. So in previous videos, I've talked about how, like, you know, we really like to stick to the plan because we have things written and laid out in our planner, right? But the great thing about planners is that you can erase them and you can fill them in again. And so that's one thing that I've really learned this year, because like everything was kind of flipped upside down. Like, I was a stay-at-home mom for 6 years. So I had a lot of time to dedicate towards planning homeschool and, you know, doing other things. And this year, as I said, it just changed so dramatically. But yeah, so be ready for curveballs. Be ready for curveballs, however they may come. Another point I'd like to make is don't allow yourself and your insecurities about your capabilities and your performance as a homeschooling parent get in the way of what God is doing. So, for example, I used to feel away and guilty when we would take time off for like extended periods of time. I would be like, oh my days, we haven't done any like core subjects in like maybe 2 weeks. Who knows, maybe it was even more than that. I don't want to sit here and give you an exact number, but we've taken time off, and it hasn't been on purpose. It's just kind of happened that way. And I used to feel so bad about it because I was like, oh my days, we're gonna get behind. And no, maybe, and this is something that really I did learn, that maybe God's telling you to kind of pull back and just have a rest. You know what I mean? Maybe that's God telling you that this is a season of rest, right? And He knows why. It could be for your own benefit. It could be for your child's benefit. It could be the whole benefit of the whole family. Like, again, if you're going in there with your own plans and your own mindset of how school is going to be laid out, and if you're going to follow the school year that public school, traditional school follows, but you're also saying that you're being led by God, then you need to be ready for Him to say, no, we're not doing that. We're switching it up. This is what we're doing. You have to be willing to be a mold, like a piece of clay. That's really what you have to be willing to do, and not let your own, like I said, your own insecurities and your own desires get in the way of that. And so, yeah, that's really all that I have for you today. It was just a little bit more of I guess a freestyle kind of like conversation that I wanted to kind of like have today, but I think it's an important one for homeschoolers, especially if you're a Christian homeschooler and you know you're new to this. Just really lean into God, because, and the great thing is, if you're going in the wrong direction, He's God. He's gonna set you on the right path. So you just have to be willing to recognize it, recognize the season that you're in, and just constantly ask Him to guide you and to help you, especially if you are doing this because you feel that He has called you to do it. Of course, He has a plan. And then lastly, but certainly not least, I wanted to leave you with a Bible verse, Psalm 23. He lets me lie down in green pastures, and he leads me towards calm and quiet waters. So I wanted to leave you with that. Just picture that in your mind, and hopefully you will allow God to guide your homeschool journey in that way. Trust Him. He has a plan. He knows more than any of us could possibly ever think that He knows. He's God, so trust Him. All right, so thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and of course share with someone you know who might enjoy it as well.